Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are taking a look at all of the TCG world premieres and ranking them from best to worst. As you can see here, we have a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And we're just going to go over them and see how well they are. Now, to be fair, some of them are like brand spanking new. Like, for example, the Pumpkin one, brand new. So, it may be a little unfair. But other than that, I don't really care. So, let's hop in. Starting it, first and foremost, also, this is going to be based on their more or less competitive results, right? Like, how good have they been as a, world premiere archetype, as opposed to just anything else, right? Hopefully that made sense. Vendred. Look, Vendred are real bad. Vendred are like, they're as much as I like Vendred, they're a cool archetype and they're like a cool concept, and they did really well in NR format. In terms of anything else ever at any point, when did they? The answer is never. Fish technically have results, and therefore I will put them in C tier, but they're not great. Same thing with B Troopers. I think B Troopers have results, but they're not great. I'm gonna real quick talk about FA because no one has ever done anything with FA. I just wanted to talk about it real quick because in Duel Links, some of the FA cards, specifically Mock Bike, you could utilize a skill with in order to make it basically a floodgate. It was Macro Cosmos on field. You reveal a high level monster, make it a Macro Cosmos, bada bing, bada boom. Hilarious, right? That was basically it. This deck never did anything else. I guess FA Dawn Dragster is like a good card, but that doesn't redeem the archetype. Speaking of which, we have our first S tier. Look, sometimes they just get things right. And let's be honest, BA was absolutely one of those. BA dominated for quite some time. It was a really, really powerful deck. It saw multiple different metagames, utilizing multiple different engines, and it just was a very, very well done, well-received archetype. Very solid. I don't think I need to explain this much. Tistina didn't do anything, hasn't done anything, will never do anything. Okay, I have to make a new tier here, because let's all be honest, Warrock deserves its own tier. Right? We all know, we all love the Warrock tier. And we also all know Warrock, where is it? Warrock's the best. It's that simple. The greatest, the most perfect, the peak of all archetypes ever printed have to compare to Warrock. Anyway, Valkyrie is an archetype that exists, and I totally forgot about it. The Elder Entities are interesting because... Are they called Elder Entities? I don't remember. The Elder Entities are interesting because they are almost exclusively engine... No, not engine. They're almost exclusively, like, extra deck additions that you would go through in order to facilitate some other strategy. I guess engine, yeah. Like, for example, As a Thought, allowing you to basically just As a Thought the opponent, preventing them from activating monster effects so that you could do your combo, preventing any form of interaction, right? You could go for Norden for extra reborns. Entis is a way to pop cards. Like, there's a bunch of instances of that, right? And in fact, some of these cards are still on the ban list. Reasonably so. Anyway, the point is that as an archetype, it's not actually all that great. There's just been a few staple cards. And so, I don't know, probably A tier. They're probably A tier, right? Because of Norden, Entis, and As a Thought just being absolutely insane. Mostly the As a Thought and Norden, but nonetheless, a lot of the other ones, like Nyardla, whatever this one is, kind of don't do anything. Paleo I'm going to put into A tier. They were a solid meta deck for quite some time. They had a lot of representation. but they weren't necessarily the best deck in the room at the time. Though, to be fair, they were competing with Zodiac, so I don't know how genuine that should be. They were a decent deck, is all I will say, but not like game-breaking like Warrock. Next up, Dream Mirror. This deck exists. I consistently forget about this deck. This is a TCG. This was a TCG. They had some really good decks from the TCG. I'm lying to you. Anyway. Gate Guardian, I think, is a pretty solid archetype. Though, has it done it? I feel like it's done something. Though, to be fair, I think Tistina has also done something. Am I wrong? Either way, I feel like Gate Guardian is just a step above a lot of these other ones. At the very least, it has a game plan, and it's pretty solid. And I feel like it has been used from time to time. I don't know, maybe it hasn't. Next up, we have Gold Pride, which is an archetype I genuinely also forgot about. That's crazy. This is a cool archetype. I'm a big fan of Gold Pride and the way that it works and its thematics and all of that jazz. That being said, it's not good. It's not a good archetype, right? But it did have, I believe, some success with Punk. Though I don't know if that converted to tops or anything of that nature, but I feel like it was fairly decent. Kaijus. Okay, so Kaijus, once again, are similar in nature to that of the Elder Entity archetypes, where it's like, okay, a lot of the Kaijus have been meta-relevant because of the fact that they are Kaijus, not because of the fact that they are a Kaiju deck. And so I feel like that's the perfect example of like a B-tier deck, where it's like, good cards, bad archetype. That's kind of the idea. Cosmos. Cosmos are... I feel like I can't quite put them in S tier. They are an A tier deck at the very least. Very solid. Heavy representation across quite some time. I think it was like a full year of Cosmos being playable at the very least, right? The Cosmo archetype was really, really well done. Yeah, that's it. Guru does exist. It is an archetype. This is Subterror. I call it Guru because Subterror Guru is pretty much the only card worth even noting in the Subterror archetype. Again, another deck that in early Duel Links was playable, which was actually a pretty interesting deck nonetheless. Man, early Duel Links was really well done. Plunder. Plunder has also had some representation, but I also think that it is a clear step up from a lot of these other decks in regards to when it came out, how playable it was, and how it's like recent support actually did help it. Maybe I'm biased. I'm probably biased. Let's be honest. I love Plunder. I think it's real cool, but I do think it's... Okay, let's be honest. It's probably not in a tier above that of Fish and stuff like that, but it's a good archetype. It had stuff. Okay, look, Redoer Turbo is a cool strategy, but Time Thieves, other than Redoer, literally haven't done anything. It's literally just Redoer being like an S tier card. That's it. Anyway, Libromancer. I always forget this deck exists. This is like one of the most forgettable decks in my mind. I don't know why. It's not like it should be. It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's a good show. I don't know why I forget the stand archetype, but I do. Regardless, it's bad. Noble Knights are not good. They never been good. Let's be honest. They were never good. In for Noble Knights, don't count, and I'm not going to count them. You can't make me count them because they are entirely different archetypes, and they are entirely separate in their mechanics. That's not true. But one was like something that was released in the OCG and came over to the TCG. And then... yeah, Noble Knights did technically release in the TCG. UA did have some rogue meta relevancy and was playable. Also not great, but it did exist. Probably not better than Fish, though. Spiral. Look, we may not have gotten Double Helix in the TCG first, but dear Lanta, if this deck was not absolutely the most heinous thing to come out of anything. Turns out double Helix is kind of nasty. Turns out having the ability to go 2 guys into some of the most heinous end boards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty good. That's a pretty good effect. So, yeah, all in all, Spiral, very strong. Very powerful. Also, this deck's so fun to play. I wish Spiral was still playable. Dangers, I feel like I have to put in S tier. Dangers have seen meta relevancy for quite some time. They're just solid cards. Don't know what to say. Obviously, as a deck themselves, they're not powerful, but similar to that of the Elder Entity archetype, they are extremely powerful as an engine. However, unlike the other archetype, they actually do stuff by themselves, right? Like, they had a Danger FTK. It was Danger Dark World, I believe. So it was like, just draw your entire deck and then FTK the opponent, right? So there's that. Flame Swordsman technically exists. Okay, let's be honest. This deck didn't do anything. Obviously, Flame Swordsman itself was not a TCG exclusive, but the actual archetype surrounding that card was. Anyway, Ashen, man. They could have made a really cool deck with really sick artwork, actually do something. And then they did nothing with it. Anyway, here's Mutant. I think Mutant had some result. I'm lying to you. It didn't do anything. I had to look back in my brain, and I think I remember Mutant being technically playable in Genesis, like at the very start of Genesis, and then people realized, wait, this deck doesn't do shit. Hey, Mimighoul. Mimighoul actually has been playable from time to time. That's not true. It was playable when it released. And it was not terrible. Anyway, Materiactor. Materiactor seemed like it was going to do something, because like, oh, here's some like free level 3s, you know, you have a good rank 3. I think it's 3, right? It's like, okay, you know, you get some advantage, you get some disruption, like that's fairly decent. And then it just did nothing. At all. So there's that. Anyway, here's Mitsu. We all know where Mitsu's going, right? Though, I hate to say it, I think Spiral is technically better than Mitsu. And here's why. Mitsu has had a lot of representation, but it's only ever been used as an engine. That's not true. It has been played pure, but it's mostly been used as an engine, whereas Spiral was one of the decks that was dominant, nigh unbeatable, almost like full top cut. Tier 0 dominant, received hit after hit, still was meta relevant, received more hits. They printed a new card, and then all of a sudden it became meta again, and they had to receive more hits. And, yeah, I mean, Spiral is Spiral. I feel like there is not a better representation of what a TCG exclusive archetype could be than Spiral. Spiral is like, oh yeah, whoops, Yu-Gi-Oh! Happened. Turns out we don't know how to balance Link monsters. Oops, our bad. That's basically what happened. Man, pretty good archetype, pretty solid. Probably above Paleo, probably above Cosmo too. It's a really solid archetype. It's had some meta relevancy. It's right now seeing a lot of play in Master Duel because it's the best of one. But all in all, I don't think it's necessarily insane. You know what? It's probably worse than Paleo overall. Probably even worse than Elder Entity. It's somewhere in A tier. Honestly, all of these are like really close, right? I feel like there's some pretty big gaps in between these guys, but these are all very close. RB. I don't think this deck did anything. Man, this deck looked so cool. I like the idea of this deck. The ability to like gain effects by pointing to the monster and then utilizing that monster as like material to like shoot a weapon or something like that, or like equip a weapon, but not actually equipping it. That's so cool. A really cool mechanic. Too bad it's terrible. The new GMX, I don't know, the new Dino thing, I forget the letters that are associated with it. This deck exists. It's kind of early to see whether or not this will be a good deck. I'm going to say it's terrible. Moving on to the Pumpkin deck, the Call of the Haunted deck. I actually think this deck does have some legs to stand on. I think at the very least it is going to be playable. Similar in nature to that of Mimighoul. I think I'm going to put this in B tier. As of right now, 0 results. Is there a possibility it still receives 0 supports? Yes. Or 0 top cut? Yes. That being said, we also could see new support for the archetype. And I think that gives me hope. Am I highly overrating this? Absolutely. Anyway, I have no idea what this archetype is. I have no idea what this is. No clue. I'm not going to rate it because I have no clue what it is. All in all, though, I think you can tell most of the TCG world premieres, that's what they're called, world premiere archetypes, didn't actually hit the mark. And then sometimes we get Spiral. I feel like, I don't know. Look, sometimes we get Spiral. That's all I gotta say. Very funny. But all in all, those are my thoughts. Yeah, I don't know. Some of the TCG exclusives, I don't know. I feel like we've gotten some really cool archetypes from TCG exclusives, right? Burning Abyss, Mitsu, Paleo, Cosmo, the new Call of the Haunted archetype. Like, there's a bunch of stuff like that where I'm like, man, these are such cool. I mean, Ashened. Just too bad some of them are just really bad. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.